It's already sharing.
It's live. We're live now. So shit. Yep. Refresh the page, and you should see the live feed now.
No, really, it's a refresh. Refresh.
How many steps did you have already?
Refresh. Refresh.
Oh God. It's just gonna be crazy. They're just like, why are they laughing so
Share
much?
it to the right input.
Okay, hold on. Yeah,
No, I already did.
I'm
Already
doing
did.
it.
Already did it. Already did
You
it.
got the Facebook?
Look.
Who's the culprit? Who's the culprit?
No, I said I already did it.
Who's the
You
culprit?
will see it on there.
Okay.
Is it you, Siobhan? Just turn down your volume. I always forget.
Oh, it did turn me on. That's
Yeah. Listen.
I thought I heard Andrew talk.
Why did you like?
Biggie. Oh.
Right.
Big. Go in. Improv that. Go in.
It go, rapper, it go.
Rap assassin, rap acrobatic.
I flip the matches, grab cash and vanish.
My flow bananas, I might go gorilla. I don't know no thriller.
I'm like really reeling in these royal vibes, a ruler type of guy.
That's it. That's all, man. Drop that. Can't give you no more. Can't give you no
Sounds so
more.
beautiful, don't you agree?
Don't you agree? Right.
Hold on.
Sounds so beautiful, don't you agree, ladies and gentlemen?
Right. I know we peeking.
We too
Okay.
loud?
Peeking, man. Ain't nobody looking through the window.
All right. Ebony, give us your loudest.
Loud.
Your
Mic
loudest.
check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay. All right. We good. Because Ebony didn't peek. All right. Facebook. We are live right now. This is the Gray Area, and this is your boy Ray E.
This your boy P. Willis.
And this is your girl, Ebony.
Hold on. We're not going to stop at P. Willis. That's too much S on that.
P. Wills, man, what's happening?
Which means that you got too much water.
I got apple juice in my cup.
Hey, look.
Wait, stick to the script.
Right.
Hey, look, put your air and say, out of pappy.
Y'all, we got a very important show this evening. We're talking about relationships in 2018. There's so many different demographics and all kinds of different things going on with relationships. What it's almost like we're redefining what a relationship is, and we're gonna dig deeper into that as we go on. We have a Josh Short who's been on our show before with Active Fool.
Oh
What's happening,
yeah.
bro?
How you doing, man? Feeling good? Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man.
For sure.
You don't get no shirt, so don't be asking for no.
Oh, that's not the rules.
Hey. You're right. If you come back, you get a shirt. My man Gritty, what's going on, man?
Man, feeling good here with my brother the Craftsman. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir, man. You was busting a nice little flow. That's how we was kind of hyped before we went on.
Man, it's a little something that we like to do. And
That's
all.
what's up, man. I'm almost want to bring that back real quick. Like, I just want to bring that back real quick. Give us something.
What you with, though?
What you with, though?
Yeah.
I ain't been blowing on no end, though.
Nah.
I'm chilling with my friends, though.
Yeah.
I'm with my kinfolk. It's a family affair. You know my hair nappy, but I still don't care the way they looking at me. You know I do be happy. That's the reason that I do it. I gotta prove it. Gritty in the Craftsman, back in action. Rap assassin, Great Area live. Hey, look, that's my first radio freestyle. Hold up. Drop my own bomb.
That's dope.
Right on.
Shivani James is in the building.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Ready to dig deep
We gonna dig
Dig
deep.
a little
We
deep.
definitely
Shovel.
gonna dig deep.
with the shovel.
Okay.
All right, we gonna dig deep. I'm real and honest, so let's dig
Hey.
deep. All right.
We got Sarabi Shalom in the building.
Hey, y'all.
That's all you got?
Somebody got to be the voice of reason in the room.
Hey,
And Andrew. Little Andrew is at the door.
Andrew Mitchell is in the building. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Hey, Mr. Cognac.
Yes, Andrew's on daddy duties, y'all. It's so
He is.
cute.
He is.
Oh, never stops.
Hey, come on in, young man.
Where's the little man at? There he is.
Come
There
on
he
in,
is.
young man.
Look, he's smiling as big
Oh,
as that. Hey, we do it all here. Close that door for me, please. Thank you, sir. Y'all, we have a great show this evening. We're going to talk about relationships in 2018. Some of the things that we're going to be covering is the status of the relationship, defining what that is in 2018. You know, we're going to be talking about how is marriage tangible enough to be is it a better status than being single? Some people like being single or prefer that over or have been married and prefer the single life. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk deep about, we just had the royal wedding, right? You know what I'm saying? The big thing around that was, the wedding was beautiful, but the big thing around that is a black woman, now a princess, married into the family. So we're going to talk about interracial relationships and the man and woman perspective on that. We got an equal amount of women. Well, it's not an equal amount of men and women. What I've been seeing on Facebook in regards to the interracial relationship, a lot of people are saying because you know, the royal wedding and this woman with the white man, it was okay. So we gonna discuss some different things around that. That was the big one. Also. Is he alright?
Yeah, he good.
Oh, okay,
No, he
okay.
he just want to sit with me.
What's his name?
Andrew. I call him AJ.
Andrew Jr.?
Yeah, so we call him AJ Miles.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's dig into this. What is relationships in 2018? Any one of y'all can start. What does a relationship mean to you in 2018, or what have you been seeing the most in regards to, I guess, what people are accepting?
Settling or accepting?
Let my man go first.
I think, you know, it differs for everybody. For me, it's a certain level of commitment. It's a certain level of stability. It's a certain level of growth that takes place between two individuals. I know I've had my fair share of relationships. I've been married myself. I'm divorced. And I've been out here dating myself. And I've had my challenges. And I think, you know, initially, because I was with my son's mother for almost 8-9 years.
That's commendable.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I got out here, I always make a reference of the movie Love Actually with Steve Carell. Well, that's how I was. But in my mind, I thought I was Hitch from Hitch.
What's the plot?
Basically, married man gets a divorce. He gets back out here to date, and a guy kind of shows him how to date.
Okay.
So when I got out here, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I got this. There's so many women out here. I know what I'm doing. I've read these books. I've seen these movies. My friends, I done lived it. My friends done gave me advice. And then I got out here into my own testament. I felt like I failed at it because I had to keep trying at it. And I think as adults, you know.
Do you feel like you failed at it, or that the landscape of dating has changed in relationships? So was it really you?
It's almost like coming home from jail and you think.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, exactly. You think the pager man is still hitting?
Yeah.
The pager ain't hitting no more.
But they got iPhones?
Yeah, you know, look, man, you come home from jail and you think the tall tee's still cracking, but it ain't.
Yeah.
I mean, they wear them, 4-way shirts no more.
I mean, the landscape changed quite a bit, but I think, the idea of companionship is still there. People have different ways of viewing it. And the reason I felt like I failed at it is because I felt like I put my best efforts into it. But what I deem to be my best efforts might not be somebody else's best efforts. So it was a matter of opinion and the way we see each other's standards. So.
Okay, were you married for 8 or 9 years or just?
No, I was married for 4. So I was with my son's mother, total of 8. We dated, got engaged, things of that nature. Then we got married, and then we kind of went our own way.
So what do you think changed?
Hold on.
Yeah, we will get into that. Wait, I won't be on the mic all night.
A lot of people
Yeah, you gotta get some more opinions in this.
Get your
had nothing else to say.
Minute special,
Right. I feel like I should be sitting back. Like,
Instance burn.
right.
So, Robin, what is your status and what is your opinion on dating today?
Look at it. She can't wait.
I'm dating, but I realize that a lot of people value situationships. So when you have standards as a woman, it makes it difficult to date at this day and age because you have the guys that's like, oh, I'm not ready for them right now, but let's see where it goes. Well, let's see where it goes, woman. You need to make your intentions clear because I'm not about to play games with you. Your heart is an emotional thing. It doesn't know what fun is, so I don't engage in fun. And so I'd rather sit out on that. And I think a lot of men think like, oh, you too serious. No, I'm just a grown woman. I know what I want. And because I have standards, I just tend to just fall back and not really be looking for anyone, but just enjoying life. And if I meet that person, I meet them. But I'm, welcome it with gratitude, not out here thirsty.
So we still can't ask questions yet?
No.
Dang,
Shit, not
okay.
till we get
Right.
Look, I'm old. I don't know if I'm going to remember all these questions.
So basically, what
you
just
can't
said
ask
is-
questions.
No, I'm not.
You make it, no, if you say so basically, that is not
She's
counting.
delivered us from Eva.
Everybody calls me that in real life, though. I'm the mean sister.
So would you say that the landscape has changed in regards to relationship? I mean, because you kind of went over your standards, but has the landscape changed, from when you felt like you was out there and in a relationship and then out of one? Is it the same?
Well, I went from a high school love affair to being single at 24 with a newborn baby. So I think when I immediately went into it, I still had like a high school mentality, like, okay, we gonna talk for 2 days and be in a relationship. And then I had to fall back, and my friend was like, you moving too fast. And I was like, I think I am. I don't really like this that much. Everybody is just so, childish. And she was like, no, it's your mentality. So when I sat back, and I was like, okay, what do you want? And different things like that. I realized it did change because I do feel like a lot of, not even just women, just people in general, they lack standards. So it's just like they don't have any idea of what they want, and they haven't really been out here dating on a serious level, so they have no idea which direction they really want to go in because everything is a game to them. So I think it has definitely changed.
Okay. Shivani.
Well, for me, dating
Man, she
now,
opened it up with well.
because in my 20s, I was in a relationship, like she just mentioned. I dated someone in high school. We had children together. So I was already committed, but I had never really dated. And so then I got married at, how old was I? 28? I was divorced 4 years later. And then I got into a relationship, and it lasted for some years, on again, off again. But I had to realize, what is it that I really want? Why am I committing to something that's really not what I really, really want? And I had to find myself again. And so now that I'm 40 plus, the game has definitely changed, and I don't play a lot of the games. So I find myself in that toss-up with, well, if you don't do it, somebody else will. So then here I am, this single lady, trying to figure out, how to make this work and still enjoy life. And that people allow, and, we all have our tolerance levels and things that, I had to write out a non-negotiable list. I had to write out a list of things of what I want, and then what are my non-negotiables. But what I found in that, I did that in 2002, let me say that. But I started deviating from the plan, so when I started deviating from my plan, then people saw this as a game that I wanted to play. So now that I'm sticking to my plan, then I don't play as many games, and my phone doesn't ring as much, let's just say that. So that's how it goes.
Alright, great.
I think that one of the main things that like kind of takes place as far as like changing the landscape of dating is that we have way too many options. It's just like you have social media, so it's just like if you're a woman you got somebody in your DMs at all time. You always have somebody else like coming at you, and I guess it was like that before, but now it's just so much more accessible. It's just like from all angles, and I think a lot of people see that, and they don't see the need to commit. It's just like you can get everything you want out of a relationship in today's day and age without being in a relationship. So if that's somebody to come over at night, if that's somebody to spend time with, if that's somebody to have sex with, it's just like you said, the standards are changed. They're not. You don't have to. It's not as hard to get to that level anymore. It doesn't mean as much, and a lot of people, you know, our generation is so much based on instant gratification. You know, it's everybody just wants it fast. Nobody wants to put in the time, because I think good relationships are still possible. Like I definitely believe that, and I would like to find that myself one day. But I think that it takes time, and everybody's just so busy and so distracted and working so much, and then it's just like, if I really want to find somebody, I can just hop on an app, swipe a few people, and be like, oh, you're cute, match with you, talk with you, and then boom, bam, it's, you know, and that's the process of our generation. So it's just kind of like, it's right. I mean, for real though. So it's just like
not Instagram, Instagram.
Yeah, you know, and Kendrick said it the best. Kendrick said, you know, Instagram is the best way to promote some pussy. He said that in his song. Like, that's what a lot of people.
The P word. The P word.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, little man. Instagram is the best way to promote some people.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
There's a child in the room.
I remember asking. I was like, are we censored? They said I'm censored. My bad. Cakes. I'm sorry. Look, I'm already the first one to mess it up. I'm the first one to mess it up.
You're the only rapper in here, so it makes sense.
But no, man, I think that's like a big thing why this game
For
is
sure.
changed.
For sure. Josh,
Hi.
what are your thoughts on the landscape of relationships in 2018?
Oh man, I think situationships is definitely a very real thing. Yeah, for sure.
Is that what do you feel like that's what I'm sorry to put this on you.
Go ahead.
But and y'all can chime in after he gets done. But is the situationship a thing for young people? Do you feel like for your age group and up, is just like that's the thing?
Yeah,
because
I think
the tone of the older crowd is just like, I got these standards. You're gonna wait, and I'm not gonna play these games. And the young people are like, well, if it ain't Netflix and chill, then what is it?
So, man, we call older, man, first and foremost.
Let's start there. Let's start
crowd.
Well, I did like this. I look like at 25.
Right. No, yeah, me and Aaron talk about this a lot, actually. And I've said that I feel like it's our generation thing. And Aaron, he'll tell me that he's like, maybe it's just this age thing. Maybe it's just like around this age range, that's when situationships seem valuable. But like me and him, we have a mutual like best friend, and she's a female, and she values situationships very heavily. So it's just like, wow, you would think it's just like a guy thing, but like
explain situationship real quick, because I'm pretty sure some people on the feed like, what is a situationship?
All right, bet.
So explain what that is.
Okay, boy meets girl.
Okay.
Boy and girl may or may not have sex, right?
Okay.
But they're definitely like spending the night. They're definitely going on dates.
Right.
They're definitely talking to each other about problems and stuff.
Right.
There's definitely no like title on it. It's not a boyfriend girlfriend thing.
Okay. So you got the relationship without the paperwork.
Yeah, it's the benefits, but it's not, you getting the benefits without paying the full
Single
price.
but committed.
Okay. Okay.
But
I mess with you.
All these to beating cakes, man.
It could though. It's so, but
that's what it's all about.
But the thing me and Aaron,
that's what it's all about.
The thing me and Gritty, I keep calling you Aaron. The thing me and Gritty,
Hey, my mama called me.
it's Brandon. It's Brandon. We gotta call you not Brandon.
Go ahead.
Let me get back to it. The thing me and Gritty talked about is just like at a certain point, sex is just like. It's attainable in my generation. It's attainable. It's very attainable. So it's just like it's not
an important.
It's not a trophy or it's not a thing to brag about to your homeboys, and especially in our circle, it's not. So it's just like, all right. So okay, what else comes with that? I don't want the relationship that comes with it, but I want the other stuff that comes with it.
Companionship.
Yeah, that companionship is really key and stuff, and I think that a lot of people, especially in my generation, a thing we struggle with is being alone and, working on knowing ourselves to have self-love. But, you always want companionship still. So it's just like you got to find that balance of like, do I want to be around this person a lot, but I also got to work on myself. So it's just like situationship seems like the route a lot of us go.
Do you mind me asking your ages? I just want to see what you say in generation. I just want to see if you're millennials.
Millennials for sure.
Millennials. Okay. Okay.
Ebony, you can fire away. Do you still remember your question?
Oh yeah, I have like
Okay.
6 of them.
Okay, go ahead.
I know I had a question when they thought through something out.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, the thing I'm trying to figure out, and again, it could be a generational thing. What is the difference between dating and situationships?
That's a good question.
I think that dating is when you have clear intentions with a person.
So there's going to be a follow up.
Yes,
Or
like
follow through.
Yeah, but a situationship, y'all just out here kind of reckless. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's
There
no,
and everywhere.
you haven't even had that discussion. You don't. You just kind of there. I think situationship.
Right, like sex is on the table as soon as you
Yeah.
walk in the room.
I think that with situationships, like Josh said, it's like a lot of people don't take the time to like get to know themselves and really learn themselves, and so like everybody's just looking for some more. So just like we're here, it's just like I like you, you like me, and I think a lot of people are just so like. I know me personally, I'm scared to get hurt again. Like, you know, I think a lot of people are like scared, like to really invest feelings because it's just like there's so many times, you know.
How old are y'all, man?
I'm 23.
I'm 24.
Wait. Hold your feelings in, man.
Yeah.
Hold on to those.
No, they gotta
We'll
have
talk
some
about that
heartbreaks.
in a
They
minute.
gotta have some heartbreaks, though. I think they need a few heartbreaks
Yeah,
before
they
finally
agree.
settle
I
down.
tell you, yeah,
I
it's-
agree.
They don't need to wait until they fully committed and all the way
And
in.
then get their feelings hurt.
They might bust some windows
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
we
Depending on the woman, the woman is very good at taking it. You always crying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
When you do that, you know what I'm saying? You can't be. The woman will use that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know
Right.
y'all- you would, you know. When you
I have a
release
question,
stuff.
ladies, or mainly, sorry, mainly to the women. Who controls the sex in a situation, whether it's dating, a relationship, or a situation?
question.
That's a good question.
Today,
Just period.
I control it.
Okay, the woman does,
And
right?
the woman does. She
Okay.
really, I think we have relinquished our rights in a lot of ways, but we
Okay.
control a lot of aspects, and that is definitely one of them.
Okay, so why do you think that a lot of relationships or situationships don't work if it's 3 days and the dude has already beat the case? If y'all control it.
That's because she's allowed it, or they probably haven't even talked about it. How about that? In most instances, you're running off of that adrenaline of meeting that person and that lustful relationship at the time. I'm
Yeah,
attracted
that
to you, she's attracted to me. You think you might have some chemistry, and it's really not even that. And then you find yourself in a situationship. They don't have those I just can't believe that you're having those conversations.
So do you
Just-
so do you think that the woman has self-esteem issues and she feels like this, if she opens herself up physically off top, that's going to lure that guy in and keep him there?
That could be, but I think for many years, women have always been, we get labeled if we giving it up on the first date. If we're, if we're aggressive in our sexual choices and what we want, we get labeled a certain type of way. And maybe that sometimes, and then the ones that maybe you struggle with that little girl inside of you. And the only way that you know how to relate to a man is sexually. So then, yeah, I think that could be very true.
That's a good point.
What about you? Because she's looking at me like Remy Ma. Go ahead. So of course she's about to go off.
She said, I got some bars for you.
I'm just like listening though. My opinion, when a woman is out here engaging in situationships and being with men who place no value on her, she's constantly bartering her body to be loved. And I think the trade-off leaves her broken every time. And I think with sex being the highest level of communication, you need to establish a friendship first and build from there. And because women don't, it leads to their own heartache and they have to take accountability for it. So I believe that there are good men out here, but a lot of women don't present themselves in a way that gives a good man a chance to value them as such. But I really think that sex should be the last thing on your mind when getting to know a person, especially when you have a clear sense of self. You should be dating someone that is for your purpose. Period.
It's
always happen. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Evan?
Yeah, man, go back to what you just said.
I said,
Let me lean back. Let me lean back. I'm about to lean back.
I said, well, what if your purpose is only sex? Because some people, that's all they want. They
Yeah,
may
that's
just want
true.
a solid partner to just have sex with, without the strings attached or anything else that comes with
And
it.
I think that men, especially, I know that sometimes they're honest when it comes to just wanting sex, but it's like the woman will still basically pursue that and hoping it'll be more because now he's, they basically engaged and she's emotionally drawn in to me at that point, and then at the same time, since that line has been crossed, she's kind of wanting more, especially. It's not always just sex. Most of the time, the man is like, "What's up, baby?" or taking her to the movie. So, in her mind, it's still an opportunity for more. So, even if his purpose is just sex, and I'm gonna still treat you good, she's still gonna be looking for more.
Well, she's gotta have it. That's not a new show, but that's the old show. You got sisters out there that really exist like that.
Yeah, well,
And they don't want that relationship, and it's the opposite. The men want the relationship, and
That
she
is
just
true,
wants
too.
the sexual freedom and the freedom of expression.
I was in something like that before.
What do you think is driving that though? What is driving that emotion?
We're all human. We're all human. We all have desires and stuff. It's not the guy. Like, it's like if a girl has sex on the first date or whatever, then she's labeled. But if a guy does, he's not. And I don't think that's fair at all. Because we all got desires and stuff. I just think, for real. So it's just like, I don't think it should be. I don't even think we should say that women have motive, have desires too. And then I know in our generation, girls are caring less and less more about, like, am I gonna attain a relationship, or am I just gonna enjoy myself? And with that being said, then it's just like, okay, it's easier to have conversations.
Is that intimidating?
Well,
When a woman is just wanting to enjoy herself?
not for me.
Hey,
Do you think it is?
she said that question like she's speaking from experience.
Is that scary?
I'm just trying to be the voice of the audience, okay? I'm just trying to
She
be the
said
voice
that
of
like she's
of the
speaking from
people.
experience, like she been in that situation before. Like, look here, dog. I think you better tap these cakes real quick.
Right.
And he's probably like, dang, what?
Right,
Me?
like
Man.
pulling his robe close.
But I've also heard some women say, just be honest about what you want and your intention.
Right,
So
and then they
explain
tell
that.
us
That's true,
we don't appreciate honesty. You don't really want me to tell you the truth. Women don't want to know the truth. I've heard that enough times. I can't even count it. But there are some of us who appreciate the truth. And then when you take away my choice and to be able to make a decision based off of that, and you lie to me, then you've taken away my opportunity to make a decision. And I think I'm pretty good at making decisions. Not always, maybe all my life, but I'm pretty good at making decisions for myself. But when you take that away from me by lying to me, selling me dreams, you know what they say, you buy a beachfront property in Idaho. I mean, when you're doing that, what am I mean, what do we
Men taking choices from women. Personally, I think it's more so we're all adults. We all know what's going on. We've all seen situations that benefited us and some that didn't benefit us. I think something you pointed to earlier, it's a matter of accountability. Like, I think you have a choice every single way. I think a lot of times we get caught up in what's going on initially. We're looking at everything with the rose-colored eyes. And we want everybody to be like, oh, this is sweet and this is great, but we're not looking at all the signs that go against who we are as individuals and whether or not somebody's a great fit for you. Like, the one thing that I've been really adamant about is making sure the person that I'm involved with is a great fit for me. I was talking about it earlier today, and what I mean by great fit, it's a matter of, if I'm upset, am I going to take it out on them? That's a great fit for me, meaning that I won't take it out on them. Or if I'm sad, can I talk to them about it? Or if I'm bored or alone, am I going to look for them in terms of entertainment? Like, I got to be able to coexist with them as an individual. I'm really big on friendships, me personally, because I want to get to know the individual that I'm involved with. And I think, part of going back to when I got out here dating, I had all these ideas and I got all these suggestions. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But a lot of them weren't true to who I was and what I wanted to do long term. And I think over the course of time, I managed to figure out what it is about me that I like and what I want to share with somebody and what I need from a person in order for me to coexist with them.
That's good stuff, man. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yes.
go out on the women and tell y'all, women, I want to give y'all a little key of advice for men and their thought mentality. I think the men will agree with me.
Okay.
Having sex on the first night isn't a deal breaker. The deal breaker is how long can you put up with me? How long can you put up with my situation progressing as a man?
That's thinking.
Progressing as a man to get to this place. How long can you stick around? Because I know I'm going to go through the ups and downs because I'm still trying to find myself. How long are you willing to stick with me through that? And then on the other side, it's like even if you don't have sex, I need to see you in 5 or 6 different lights. I need to see what you act like when you're mad, when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're frustrated with me. So this process for men takes years sometimes. It takes 4 to 5 years. Maybe some even take 2 years. So I think that men and women's perspective on relationships are definitely different because I think women are looking for more like, I see potential in this guy and I think he could be something initially. Right? So when you dating someone or you having multiple dates with someone or you have multiple situations with someone, you see potential in them. You're just not wasting your time. Women don't waste their time, that's first of all. So, and if you feel like you're wasting your time, you stop it. You cut it off. So y'all don't really necessarily want to wait a long time. And I think men are looking for like, let me see what happened with this in the next 4 years and see if she's gonna still be around. I mean, that's just my perspective.
No,
What y'all thoughts on that?
that's totally fair. Like, I think 4 years would drive me nuts personally. Like, that's a long time. 2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I need some
Right.
clarity, and I think a lot of the reason I feel the way that I do, because I parent and I also work like everyone else, and I got other obligations that I got to tend to. So for me, I need to know if we're a good fit as friends. Can we just hang out? Can we just go places, and then kind of see where it goes? I think at this point in my life, I'm not really interested in any kind of intimacy. Like, I'd rather have a conversation. I'd rather see where this could potentially go long term, because that's more or less my thought process. Like, I enjoy going out like the next person. I have my moments where I'm high and I'm down, but for me it's a matter of, okay, can I bring that person into my circle? Will my friends enjoy them? Will I enjoy them? Will my son enjoy them? So I have to look at the bigger picture of everything.
Right.
And it's not to say that I've done this perfectly, or I've done it at a standard that everybody would agree with. But I've been trying to work at it, so that way I was more or less comfortable with the outcome of it. So
Do you feel like that thought process is effective though? Because it seems like there are women out here that are like looking for a person like you, where you don't necessarily want to get into the sex thing. You just want to feel the person.
I say from the women that I've talked to, they get caught up in the idea of just having somebody. Like, people are big on titles. Like, they want that companionship. They want to say that person's their boyfriend rather than getting to know that person and really genuinely building that friendship. I can't be or make a fault. So for me, I'm like, all right, I need to know that, hey, we can crack jokes, we can talk, we can do whatever it is that is topic of discussion, and then go forward. Because and that's just kind of my opinion on it. Like, I think also that there are the signs in the beginning when women are first introduced to a guy. I'm like, he might not fit what you're trying to do. Like, I remember one of you mentioned the standards. Bravo, I applaud that. Like, you should have standards. And I'm like, if somebody doesn't fit within that, I would say move around personally. Like, ain't no sense of wasting your time. Like, one thing I mentioned this morning was time is a type of currency that we can't get back. So you got to spend it wisely. You can't have buyer's remorse as you get older. So
That's good.
I want to chime in. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
With
Questions?
some of the audience feedback. First of all, I thought it was extremely funny that Mitchell called Sabari fanny pack. He said I didn't know her name. Sarabi, sorry. He said I didn't know her name, but she had on the fanny pack. I thought that was funny. But you know what? Take this stuff. She said women.
I disagree. Go ahead.
And then I think it is Riley Robertson, millennial mid-20s girl guy. I've had good dating experiences with guys who were older than I, 10 years plus, or guys around my age who have a more educated upbringing and that tend to be into technology, engineering. She got hers down to fields of education, engineering, sciences, etc., and not too into hip hop culture. This is just my experience. So she's saying that she's had good dating experiences with a particular type of man, educated in sciences, and not too much into hip hop culture. That's pretty interesting.
So she's speaking on her
Her
situation.
experiences.
Oh, okay, her
right.
experiences.
So
Okay.
I'm curious though, Riley, what is do you have a common interest in the brothers that you're dating? So if science, engineering, if you like brothers in STEM programs or that are into STEM, you know, is that something you're also into? And that's the reason why they are good fits when you date. There was one more. Let's see. From Poppy Ocean, real talk. You first meet, you always thinking about the takedown. You're attracted by the visual always. So fellas, do y'all agree with this? You're
Wait, then he
attracted
said
to the
100%.
visual.
Then you open yourself.
Then you open yourself to find out if the person you're attracted to. So he's back, and then Gabby came back with, it's just not about intimacy, Pat. And you say you disagree. It's also about getting the benefits of home cooked meals.
Okay.
Holding hands,
That's the meat and potato.
meeting parents, introducing kids and everything else. But then you're still confused about wanting to be together.
Okay.
So Andrew, do you take it that far?
I kind of got like this thing that I do when I date.
Okay.
I call them heat checks, and it's a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe personally dating somebody for a full year, and I let it be known what my intention is throughout the year.
Wait, that's a whole year.
That's a
Hands
whole
off,
calendar year.
No, nothing.
Whole calendar year, and I think the reason I take that approach is because, well, the reason I take
That
that
used to be
approach
me, bro.
because
Go ahead.
because I realize that when you go at it so fast, you burn out, and you don't want that burnout. And I think again, as you start to age, you don't want to be that person who everybody knows that dated everybody or has been involved with everybody. So for me, you know, those first couple months, we're doing dates. We're trying to, you know, make sure we fit each other's schedule. We're talking more. We're figuring out, you know, how do we fit in each other's lives from a day-to-day basis. And I think after 6 months, it's like, all right, are we both still happy? And if we both still happy, we continue. But if neither one of us is happy, then we have the option to work through it, or we have the option to depart ways. I don't want to just drag this out. And it's not so much of saying that I might not be perfect or vice versa. It's just a way of seeing it as, okay, we're actively being a part of each other's lives. And I think after that year, that's when I'm like, hey, we have a title. Regardless if I came out and said it or put a post up about it, like, this is my girl. Like, at that point, you know, over the course of that year, she done met my son, or she done met my friends, or she's been to places with me. We've started to develop things. So that's kind of how I see it.
But what's to say that in that year she ain't taking something down?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You just got to take that chance. And I think that goes for adults, period. It's not just a man thing or a woman thing. Like, because women, you know, they encounter this too. Like, oh, if I ain't giving them none, they worry about if the guy's sleeping with somebody else. Again,
Women do that period, but go ahead.
But as an adult, you just have to take that chance.
Women
It's not
do
to,
that period.
it's not to say that we won't get to that level of intimacy throughout that year.
Okay.
But that's not, like, top goals. That's not it. Like, for me personally.
Man, you could be at home.
That's a good way to do it.
You could be at home 23 hours and 50 minutes a day. 10 minutes that you aren't with your woman.
What you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna cross your mind. I think personally, man, that if people are just honest about what they want up front,
Absolutely.
That's it.
I agree with
that would just alleviate a lot of BS, man. I mean, like,
it
listen,
works.
if you have it, if you have that conversation, like, listen, I'm attracted to you, okay? I mean, it's going to lead to that as long as we keep talking and dating. But it's just a matter of when you want to just, you know, do it. Like, I'm not going to force you, but I'm just being honest. Like, it's going to lead to that. Don't just try to hide it and act like that part of any relationship isn't there. And then when it happens, it's like, oh, well, So what are we now? No, like you gotta be upfront, man. And that's the problem, man, with people. I mean, you know, it is not just upfront. You know, they try to hide the physical part, like it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that's the end all be all, but in any relationship that does matter. Period. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Bring all these different
Yeah, I
dynamics
think-
into that though.
For sure.
I think honesty is like definitely the most important. And if you really don't know what you want, it's important to say that too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's really a lot
That's
of
a good
it
point.
is on the other person. Like the pressure is on the woman in a lot of ways. You know, because the natural perception is that men, in large part, want sex. So that's the first desire for you know. That's what the thought process is behind it. But I think that it is on the woman. It's on both people, really, like you said, to take your time and really figure out who you're with, like really get to know that person, like really figure them out. Because I think that is like the thing with a situationship, like going back to that, is just like a lot of times it is quick and then eventually it fizzles out because it's just like, yo, we had all this chemistry and we saw everything that we liked about each other and we saw all each other's good qualities. So we decided to give it a go. But I think that at the end of the day, like, if you're really looking for that true love thing, like you're only looking for one person. Like one person, 7 billion people in this world, you're only looking for one person. So I think that it's important to be selective. It's okay to be selective. It's okay to tell people no. It's okay to push people away. Like, but it's on you to protect your heart and guard your heart. Because other people ain't out here looking out for you. They looking out for themselves, and everybody got their own intentions and what they want bringing into the situation. It's on both people to make sure that you guys are aligned. So I think that definitely being open and honest communication, even times when the truth isn't good. Like there's been times, like men do say that women don't like to hear the truth. And there's been times where I've been upfront and honest and the reaction up front was negative. But later down the line, it was just like, yo, I overreacted, you know, you never did me wrong, you know, I respect you. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's a respect thing. It's just like, yo, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to BS you because I think that's corny to sell a dream, you know, to a girl just for, you know, the physical aspect. Because if you want that, that's out there. But it's about being honest. Ain't no point in, you know, ain't no point in
Just tell her.
Yeah.
Like, baby, listen, I don't
It's
know.
not fun
It's either
anymore.
gonna be a yes or a no.
It's
right?
not fun anymore.
What the
Talk about
game?
that.
If you're not really serious
got
about
you.
where you are in the dating game, then it is just that to you. It's a game.
It's a
So if
game.
you tell the truth up front, then you don't get to play.
Oh.
So what do
So-
y'all
I mean, I
want?
think it's
Hold on,
Sure.
hold
No,
on.
I
certain
mean, at
lines.
this age,
So what do y'all want
we
then?
get caught up into so many things. People want to pretend as if sex isn't on the table, men and women alike, because of religious reasons. I don't want to touch on that too much,
Sure.
but because of religious reasons and police and
And
how
they be
you
the
were
freakiest ones,
raised.
but go ahead.
Oh, but it takes
They be the
away
most
from
ready.
the fun, depending on where
They be
that
the most
person
on deck.
is mentally.
They be the most down,
Why
whatever.
are they the most ready?
Man, because listen, man, they consider themselves, man, their whole life like sex is bad, you know, it's wrong, it's bad, it's wrong, it's bad. They hear all that, man, they whole doggone life. I mean, what you think they gonna do when they go to college, man?
It's true.
Man, they stay ready.
You said they stay ready.
Man, they stay ready.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, I'm ready, dog. I'm
Throw off the
ready.
windbreakers.
Don't take the uniform off at halftime.
Nah, man, none of that, man. I mean, I'm just I just really think if people were just upfront, man. I mean,
I agree.
yeah, just.
But
put
it,
out there,
again,
put it out
it takes away from, depending on where you are mentally, mature wise or maturity levels in men and some women. You know, men, y'all know y'all mature a little later
Yeah,
in most
absolutely.
aspects. So
Conversations.
we're a
yeah.
lot of times, even us, we're groomed to be a princess, be
Yeah,
this,
for
be
sure.
that,
Be a wife.
and be a wife.
Be
We
a
don't.
mother.
You don't think about being anything else if that's all you're ever exposed to. So then your mission is to get married. In my 20s, have a family. I was in a relationship, make it work, have kids, make the relationship work. And it's not, I mean, my parents have been married for almost 40 years.
Ooh,
You
shout
know,
out to
but
40 years,
I mean, but
man.
it's, you know, I mean,
Yes.
Loud claps. Loud
Right.
claps.
but I am a product
Loud
of,
claps.
but my parents have been, but you know, I'm a product of a blended family.
Okay.
But my parents, so I've been around it all.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if that's all you know, then you're out here trying to make
Right.
that happen. That's your first thing you're going to do. And then when you say, get your own mind about this whole thing and how life really works, then that changes. But the game is still the same. And if somebody's still playing, then we gonna play this game. And if you get on the table and play the game on that board, you're gonna be playing and playing and playing until you get tired.
Right.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
The men are outnumbered. I mean, and
Yeah.
this may, especially in the black community, it may be more systemic than anything in regards to the black people. But I know that there's a lot more single women out there than it is men. And you know, so what are y'all thoughts on why that is? I mean, outside of the systemic, obviously, but if you got a gentleman like my man right here, he says this is a perfect candidate for somebody to be like, you know what, let me give him a try. These guys, they're not getting tries. Why?
They're the nice guys.
Okay. So
And women, some women don't like nice. I can only say my son, when he was in high school, he's 22, but he had a girl tell him she didn't want to date him because he was too nice.
Wow.
And we're talking about teenagers saying a guy's too nice to date. He's a nice guy. He knows what he wants. So one or two things ends up happening. Either he meets the girl and he's too nice and he's not mean enough, or he hasn't broke her heart, or, you know, called her out her name, or, you know, he wants too much too fast. This kid is too good to be true.
I want to get married.
He want to get married. That's too much.
Wants the right thing.
He wants the right thing too fast, in a sense. So it's a
That sounds like me when I was
catch-22.
about 20.
Right.
It's a catch-22.
Right.
But, you know, on the flip side of that, for someone a woman that knows what she wants, that can't meet the guy that knows what he kind of knows, but he knows he wants it with you and her, because all y'all bring something different to the table, then we're also left
for sure.
out here lingering.
So truth of the matter is that you just gonna have to tell her, like, look, girl, sit down.
Well, I
I'll
was
talk
gonna
to you in
say,
a minute.
the women I ran into a lot right after my divorce were women who had been through bad situations. I ran into so many.
Well, you don't even need the mic. Did you hear yourself?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not the cleanup type. I'm like, you know, I want people to deal with their own challenges and concerns before they, you know, even get themselves involved with a person like myself.
Right.
Because I had to do the same. You know, when my son and when his mother and I divorced, I had to work on myself, and I had to do a lot of working on myself. So, but yeah, I definitely have gotten the whole nice guy vibe, and I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you know.
How many?
But you've been through a marriage and a long-term relationship.
Yes.
So your perspective is normal. You know what I'm saying? It's normal for you to have that kind of perspective, because that's the chemical makeup, right? You've been through enough experience in a long-term relationship to know that, you know what, next time I get into one, I'm going to make sure these things are correct. So that's good. That's good. I never want to knock that.
Well, I got a question.
Oh, there
What's
you
your
go.
Andrew.
Now you gonna point
I got
to
brothers
me?
named Andrew. Okay, so I think it's very key that people hear the fact that you said that you worked on yourself, and you worked on yourself after that. And I think what a lot of people do. 'Cause I was in a 5-year relationship, and I recently got out about a year ago, and I desire to do that. But then it's like you just naturally want to fill that void or whatever. So I guess my question for you is, like, when you did get out of that, were you like, did you like just not mess with nobody until you were good, or?
After my divorce, I wasn't involved with anybody. Be honest, I found hobbies. I started doing all kind of different things. I picked up reading, started attending yoga classes, started swimming. Like, I started doing a lot of different things personally.
Hey, man. Hold on a
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Yes. King of the world! What's your name? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, but all the stuff that I did brought me clarity. And it helped me kind of weed out the people that I didn't want to be in my life long term. And you know, I did meet some folks along the way. I remember one situation. I went on a date. This had to be maybe about a year after my divorce. And she and I had a really great time. Took her out, made sure she got home, and it was late in the evening. I gave her, I was like, hey, all right, see you around. She was like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to the crib. And she was like, you ain't coming in. I was like, I don't live here. I was like, I at the time, I'm like, I paid rent somewhere else. So she was like, and then she asked me if I was gay. I was like, no. I was like,
wow.
I was like, for me, I at that point, I had only been involved with one woman for 8-9 years. Like, I'm not about to just jump into something else.
Exactly.
So, you know,
That makes sense.
It didn't work
That
out.
make a lot of sense.
But I mean, for me, a lot of stuff has been trial and error, and I've just been finding ways to fill those voids until I was ready to get out here.
Yeah.
And even when I got out here, I still stumbled, I still tripped, I still ran into people that weren't a good fit for me. Now it's definitely different because I have met someone, and you know, I definitely joke about her a lot on my Facebook. I call her the applicant.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And I put a post up saying
That
I wasn't taking
genuine?
them. I wasn't taking no more applicants.
Then the
Yeah,
applicant?
right.
Right.
and
Genuine over here, okay.
and she and I are really in a great space. We talk marriage. I do see her long term.
Awesome.
And it's been great getting to know her and you know everything about her and her friends. And
We've been glad you brought her up because your inbox was going
Yeah,
dry.
you about
You about to make
No, I definitely
pressure.
No, I
Yeah,
definitely
what
I
happened
found
with the
someone.
backups now?
And
Look, got a couple on hold.
I mean, but
Check and let me know.
a lot of it for me has been doing what I don't see.
I lost half our
Like,
audience.
if I'm gonna sit here and be upset or have an issue with what's going on, then I need to be more accountable with my own actions. And I just got to lead by example, especially with my son. Like, I couldn't have a revolving door at my house. I got a child at home. Like, so everything for me had to be a process. So,
Hey man, you ain't slick though, bro.
You need to write a book.
Yes.
wait a minute, why I gotta be?
You
What
got
you mean
some
slick?
brothers.
You ain't slick.
You got some brothers.
See,
You got some
that went over
brothers.
everybody's head.
What?
Yoga.
No, we heard
No, it
it.
is.
What he said, no.
Hey, bro, you ain't slick. Man.
Hey, I was going there.
First of all, I've done yoga before.
Let's start there.
I already know what's in yoga. I had to walk out of yoga. I couldn't focus. I said, oh, no, hell no, I'm out of here, dog. I'm out of here. Man, you had girls just doing all that stuff, and stretching, asking for, nah, man, I got to go. I got to go. So, man, you ain't slick. I'm trying,
I ain't gonna touch nothing, but I'm gonna see
you're gonna see something.
I had a question for, I guess everybody in the room. Raise your hand if you were in a marriage at a young age. Or, well, 20s.
20s. I mean, that could be 29 every day.
Yeah,
No, that's not.
20s.
Okay, early 20s, mid 20s.
21, 23.
Any of them.
Any
20s.
number in the 20s.
What about a long-term relationship in your 20s? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting
that'd be-
serious. All right.
That'd
So,
be more
do you
specific.
guys
Yeah.
do you feel like there's a drawback to? Because see, I'm thinking about our elders and our our elders and how they got married young, they were in relationships young. Now I look at it just from my own experience. Being in long-term relationships young, I miss out on just I guess I started I started adulthood early, because I was a mother early. And, so all these things. So now that I'm not in a marriage anymore, it's like, oh, I'm in my second childhood now. Not that I'm childish, but I'm understanding and learning things because you give yourself to your family, your husband, your children.
That's cold for
especially
trying
if
to get
you're
back out in these streets.
That's
what
so
that's
nice.
Second
Don't
child.
listen to that, y'all. But yeah, so do you feel like there's because it seems like there was been I ain't fooling with you, Pat.
She said
No,
second
you ain't getting the
childhood.
mic, dang it. That's
Talking about
not
the
that
streets.
came from Nas. If you knew your hip hop,
I know my hip hop. I know the whole
All right,
song.
man. Check the.
because that came from.
I know the
Nas.
whole song.
Oh,
yeah, okay. You talking about
So, but so basically, do you feel like? Because I feel like our elders, when they got in these young relationships, number one, they already had adult responsibilities and things like that, and I feel like there was a little bit more security for the women, that type of thing. I mean, I feel like there was a purpose at that time. Do you guys still feel like there's getting young has its drawbacks now as compared to then? And if you had to do it all over again, would you have waited? Now, of course, this means that your babies probably wouldn't exist and so forth, so we're not going to count that. But if you could do it all over again, because I say, if I could do it all over again, I would have been in my 30s, even having children in my 30s. Love my babies to death, but I feel like because of my age and maturity that I'm a little bit more prepared, and like you said, I know what I want, and so forth. Or
I'm with you on that.
Does that not matter?
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I don't feel like if you're between 20 and 25, you should just celebrate life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because and date and have fun and
Right,
just do what you're gonna do, because if you don't do that now, you're gonna do it later.
Right.
And when you feel like you've been missed out.
Right.
You know, so I wouldn't recommend anybody get in this day and age. I wouldn't recommend anybody get married young. There's just still so much to experience and so many different types of people to meet, and you could really just be
So many cakes to bake.
He is
I mean, it's not even necessarily making cakes. It's
Yeah.
just that you're gonna experience different people's personalities,
Right.
and you're gonna eventually find someone that fits you. And even if you don't stick with that person, you have a point of reference.
Right.
You have 5 people. Say you dated 5 people, you can go back and be like, you know what, I really like the person that was like her. You know what I'm saying? So now I know what I want. So, but if you only with one person and you're young and you got
That's
your
all
whole
you know.
life ahead of you,
Yeah.
how you gonna know?
Yeah, I feel that because I guess I'm the only one who didn't raise my hand to either one of those questions. And it's like I've been in situations that were like that I've dated. I've been in a situation that was really good that blew me away, and it just didn't work out. But I think that was like the import of it. It's like my mindset is like I'm gonna learn something every time I interact with somebody. I'm gonna learn something. I think there's like we take it for granted a lot of times, but there is a lot that we can learn from women. Like women are the teachers in most of school. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that we can learn and be taught, and so I think that's definitely for me, like realizing like after getting hurt, like that was my mindset, like kind of similar. I was like, I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna focus on me. I'm gonna find myself.
Right.
And I think too, like in this generation, like women are starting to resent the gender roles that were placed on them. So it's almost like it's like
Oh, that's a good
good or
topic
not,
right
it's,
there.
you know what I'm saying? It's like it kind of provided a balance. It's just like going into this thing, I'm the man, I'm gonna make the money and support the family. I'm the woman, right? You know what I'm saying? And there's just like this is what it is. And I think a lot of women now, which is not a bad thing, but it's like they don't want those gender roles. They grew up.
He said a lot of women can't cook.
Sorry.
No, it is some poor plates going around here. There's some sad dishes being made.
Look, the piece of rolls.
You'll be right. You could have heated these up. They call in a minute. Right.
That's what you tell her.
Not the microwave.
But that's what you tell her. That piece of rolls is too cold.
You are on cakes, aren't
Hey,
you?
man, listen, man, because that's
Somebody
what,
get this man
that's
some
what
cake.
it,
Right,
Please.
apparently.
it doesn't matter what road you take. You can be the guy that's not trying to do it.
You say
for a
all
year.
roads lead to one?
All roads lead to cakes, bro. All you gotta do is put it out there and say, what do I have to do to get to the cakes?
I
And
think
she might say, I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna give it to you until you do this, 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 and this. Okay, but I got you. And in order to do, I say, nah, man, that's too much for me. I go over here, man, and get it quicker than that.
That's the risk you willing to take.
All these roads lead to cakes. Period. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, what you trying to do?
I agree. All the roads do lead to that, but I don't think that all men have intentions to get to that.
All men don't, brother. And
Yeah.
listen, he knows me. You know what I'm saying? This is my brother here.
Right.
He could be honest. He could tell you I passed up on a lot. I was a lot like that over there. Like real, and nothing's wrong. No, nothing's wrong with that. Like I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying like I was a lot like you.
Right.
Where
He was everybody's brother.
Yeah, literally. Like
You
I
know
was
how you
everybody's brother.
can take off your clothes in front of him and he's not gonna touch you.
I wouldn't do nothing. Like I wouldn't do nothing
with you.
Like and
Like,
trust
dude, you didn't hit it? What?
Yeah. All my,
Ah, man, we was just
Like-
talking. What?
like all my other guy friends, you know, was like, Pat, she is bad, dog, and you ain't hitting it. Like, nah, man, nah, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so focused on the Bible and basketball in school. Like those 3 things, that's what drove me. You know what I'm saying, but like I dated some, but I was in situations, man, where I was like, you know what, I like you, but you too nice.
You know what happened? He started beating the cakes.
Hey man,
It all
hey,
changes.
I made one.
The road to the cakes changed.
And then like I started realizing, you know what, man, like that's what it's all like. It doesn't matter what road you take, what path you take, is going to lead to that. It's just a matter of what you are willing to
That's
do
fair to say.
and sacrifice.
Because
to
that
get
should
to
be
it.
that should be the bonus and the prize, right?
Hey,
You know,
yeah.
that's the most shared moment that you can have with
Yeah.
someone.
And like I've never been that type of dude, man. You know, I'm clowning it.
Right.
You know, tonight, but I've never been that type of dude, man. That's just been out here smashing chicks like that's never been me. You know what I'm saying so, but I was a lot like that, man. To where I would just be like, you know, I'm not doing it. You know, just all in college and you know the 3 years that I lived in Los Angeles, I was pretty much like a monk, man. I mean, my teammates, man, would tell you like, man, this dude, he lived in the
He was
gym.
AC Green. Y'all know what
Yeah.
AC Green is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Not
much.
the-
AC
Yeah.
Green was in the NBA and turned down all the
Oh, yeah, all.
Well, you
Wow.
you get to a certain point in your life where you just want more,
Yeah.
and I think that doesn't you can't define that by gender. For me, I know I just want more. Like I know what's out here, I know what's available, and for me, I'm like it doesn't move me.
What else do you have? I mean,
Yeah,
there
like-
has to be something
Absolutely.
else.
Josh was gonna say something too.
There's just a lot. There's a lot of good talking points.
Yeah.
I think big on the all roads leading to cakes. I guess.
We're gonna get that on the shirt.
I'm going to put that on the shirt.
Listen, we gonna put it on the shirt.
I'm a roll this swirling.
All roads lead to cakes.
Several different types of
Right.
roads.
Yeah, have a seven.
And they all-
And then
and then
like
you got the
have
cake
some
and-
walls on the side. And the road goes to the wall. And they say all road leads to cakes.
I'm gonna have to buy one.
I do have an opinion on that, and I think I know where it comes from. But I kind of value having sex earlier on, just in my generation, just because for me, I want to make sure I'm not infatuated with you or trying to do all this like stuff because I want to have sex with you. So like I'm not the one trying to push it or anything, but if you gonna open the door, I'm gonna go through, and the sooner for me the better, because now I'm just like, all right, okay, we had sex and I still want to be around you all the time. So then that's good, but I think I'm up front though before sex is even on the table though, to let them know that like, all right, I'm really not, I don't even know what this is, but it's good. So I'm gonna let you know if it changes, and you do the same for me. But I think that comes from me not being at a place where I'm good with myself yet. And I think once I'm good with who I am and my self value and love is at where it needs to be, then I don't think it'll matter if I like you or not, because I don't know because it's like you never want to be involved with someone, have sex, and then they're no longer interested in you or you're interested in them. But if you're good with who you are, then that shouldn't really matter. It should be like, okay, all right, then work out. All right, bet I'm good with me still.
Hey, man, my homeboy told me this, man, in an argument when I was in my early 20s. He said, Pat, dude, you trying to wait, until marriage, man, to, beat the cakes? He's like, bro, you gotta treat it like you're trying to buy a car, okay?
I done got in that. I got the same.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, and like he's driving me home, and like he's yelling at me. He's like, man, you gotta go to the damn car lot, Pat. Okay, you gotta pick her, pick the car out, get in, test drive it, and you might not even want the car.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I was like, damn, you know what, man, that makes sense. But getting older, you gotta realize something. If your credit's good, and you go to that car lot and you pick that car out and you know what you want, you don't have to test drive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just hop in the car and just go.
I'm trying to piece this analogy together. I'm gonna get it later.
Go
I
ahead.
got it. The thing I got with the cars was
The end of it got me. I got it for the end. The end.
I got
Well,
three.
you-
Credit.
well, the thing I got with
Gotcha.
the thing I was
So
told
you're gonna
about
get a
cars
brand
is-
new car that you want with everything that you want in it.
Okay.
So when you hop in it, you don't need to
That
test
meets
drive
your
it.
standards.
Meet your standards.
I got
You just
you.
hop
Yeah.
in and
Okay.
go.
See, I
Got
got
it.
that one, and I got the one test drive your car because you don't
Thank
want to
you.
purchase a lemon.
Oh.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was the one that I heard a lot of, and I also heard the one that he was saying.
Okay.
So I definitely understood
Yeah.
what
I
was
get it.
being, told to me.
I get it now.
So,
So,
I
so
knew
apologize.
it was, no, I knew it was something real profound. I was just, I need some.
I knew it was deep. I knew it was
Right,
deep.
right.
Did you test drive your car? You're a new one?
I
You
test
know-
drove all my cars.
I didn't test drive mine out there.
All 3 of them.
I went to a lot for 20 minutes. And
Three.
dude gave me the keys. Like, yeah, I was gone.
In my experience, this is just me personally. I've actually had good results in regards to on the first night. And I come from a situation wasn't the deal breaker for me. It was like, what happens after this? You know, do we stick around? Do we kind of? That's why I understand what he's saying. Is because it's like that's the ultimate thing. Am I done with you now, or can I stick around and we see where this goes? And I've actually had long-term relationships because of that. And like long-term, you know, this is not like a year or two. This is 6 years, you know, and that's just because in my soul, I'm a long-term person. I would rather be with a person for a long time. But I can understand dating the different people, but I was always selective of the person that I was intending on being with, which means that I've been watching this person for a while.
Okay.
I've been watching this person's actions, seeing how she moves, how she interact with people, who she deals with. You know, I was always the guy who wanted the woman in the club that wasn't dancing and loud. The one who was in there looking like she didn't want to be there. I was like, I see you over there. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not there for that. She's there because her friends
She's
dragged
the
her in
designated
there.
driver.
Exactly. So I was a scouter. I'm like, man, you know, if I'm in the club, I don't want the loud person. I don't because you loud, because you got the red hot dress
Drawing
on.
attention, yeah.
That turns me off. I don't like the women that throw themselves on you. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I like the reserve, chill. So, you know what I'm saying? I've always had good results with the ones that I've selected because it wasn't really about that. It was just that, man, that makes you attractive to me.
Right.
So, that's
I
just
want
my
to
personal.
switch gears from the cakes, from beating the cakes, to interracial dating. So Ray had briefly talked about Meghan Markle and
Meghan Markle.
Prince Harry getting married,
For sure.
and what everybody felt about that. And I did want to say she considers herself biracial, but through our lenses, a lot of us say you're black. Whether you know,
The world says she's
right?
black.
The world says she's
I mean,
black. She
got black
says she's
and
biracial.
It's not like she's
Her
black.
mama
She's
has
just
dreads.
biracial.
But
and
even
nose
if you
ring, I won't say
right,
she's black.
right. Either way, even if she's biracial, it's still interracial dating
Right.
because
Right,
you know
for sure.
you interracially dating on your black side. That's what you're doing.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on interracial dating? Are you willing to date outside your race?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's a
I'ma
good
sit
question.
back with
There's
this
a lot wrapped around.
That's a great question.
Dating.
Hey,
Did
yeah.
anybody want to answer first?
I think as far as
I look at we people when it's all said and done, and for me that doesn't bother me. Like
Okay.
who you like, who you love, who you enjoy is your business.
Right.
Okay.
I know I've dated outside of my race. I've had some
What was her
enjoyable.
race, if you don't mind?
I've dated white. I've dated Asian. I've dated Hispanic. I've dated a little bit of everyone.
Man, you're genuine, man. Go ahead. Genuine,
But yeah, I'm not
I
one.
know you go to Red.
I definitely shouldn't. I don't think anybody should set a standard on what other people do or how they live their lives.
Okay.
Like, it's not fair for me to be like, well, I got an issue with who you with. For what? Like, that's not my place. So,
I think as far as like the royal wedding, like I think it's tight. Like we got black royalty, and it's people in the wedding pictures. It's like white people who are furious. You know what I'm saying? Who are really angry. So I mean, I think interracial dating. Like I have friends who dated interracially. Like it's not my personal thing. Just because I feel like there's always going to be like especially when it's like a black-white thing. I think there's just always some things you're just not going to understand. Like you just won't be able to get it, no matter how much around how many black people you've been around. But I mean, I think if like black men and black women, like we need each other, like regardless, like that's important. Like black love is like needed for us to like really go forward.
I'm with you, bro.
I don't think that interracial dating is like the worst thing in the world. I don't think it should be a product of I'm gonna date interracially because I don't mess with black women. I'm gonna date interracially because I'm done with black men. I'm through with them. Like we shouldn't be doing it to give up on each other.
Right.
But if it's somebody, if you fell in love and you really vibe with that person and that's who it is, then like then that's what it is. But yeah, as far as the wedding, like I mean, people can be mad about it, but I think like the wedding is one thing, and then I've seen a lot about Donald Glover lately too, and how he's taking a political stand, but he's dating a white woman.
Right.
He's still black.
And the backlash,
Right.
the backlash that
Yeah.
comes.
Pro-black.
He's
anything.
right. He's still black. Like, you still a black man. If you walk and the police pull up, they're not like, oh yeah, well you date a white woman, so we'll excuse you. You know, like you still got the black experience.
Right.
So I don't.
I like, yeah.
But what do you, okay, let's say if I smoke cigarettes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm telling you, hey man, cigarettes are bad for you. Don't smoke them. Don't smoke them. Don't smoke them. But yet you see me doing it. I mean, what would you think?
As a hypocrite.
Oh.
Is the reference is
Donald
this as
Glover
far
thing?
as I mean I don't know if I don't think that it should become a thing where it's all black people versus all white people though.
Mhm.
You know, at the same
Right.
time. So it's just like I don't think that I think what white people have done to us so long is to cast these labels on us and put us in these boxes where we can only be this or we can only be that.
Yeah.
I heard a quote one time that stuck with me, and it was like the black man is feared because he has the power to turn Europe brown in 50 years and black in 100. You know what I'm saying? I heard a quote like that. So I don't think that we should just put this label on it like it's a horrible thing and all white people are the enemy. I've got some close white friends. I've got white people who've looked out for me, like, you know, in times of need.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't think we should, label them all as cigarettes. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. In my opinion, I think that if you're in an interracial relationship, it's important for both parties to embrace the other's culture in some form or fashion. And, and I think that that's important.
So you're going to listen to Garth Brooks, right?
I
That's
might.
stereotype.
I might.
I'm joking.
I'm
joking.
I might, because if the person that I'm with loves country music, then I'm interested in understanding why she loves country music.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe I might like it. If I never listened to it before, but if I don't like it, then I'm not going to fake like I do like it just to get in. I'm going to say, oh, that's
Ralph
cool,
Tresvant,
but I'm not
yeah.
into that. She's into that.
Yeah.
She loves that, and I can't be mad at her because she loves country music. She can't be mad at me if I like to listen to rap and R&B. She must embrace the culture as much as I embrace the culture.
Right.
To me, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with Daniel Glover and Donald Glover and his
Danny
woman.
Glover.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You can weapon 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoever he is, you know the Glover. What's the other wrong with either weapon?
Right, Glover.
Right, it's not a D, so
The guy from Color Purple.
He's still embracing his culture, and she still embraces that with him.
Right.
She's not giving pushback or on her Facebook page like, I don't know why he does that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a toxic relationship.
I think if his intentions is to lead black people as a man, as who he is, he's debunked that for himself though. If he wants to do it through his art and not necessarily attach who he is as a person, then he can make a really big impact. But if he wants to be a leader, then he's definitely I don't think he can really be a real leader for black people now.
But see,
if he marries a white
wait a
woman.
minute. Let me bust you out here real quick. Dr. Martin Luther King was knocking down multiple white women.
Yeah, but what's
As
the
he
what's
was-
the picture though? What's the
Maya
picture that we
Angelou
learned?
on the
Maya
mound.
Angelou.
We just know Coretta. I only know Coretta though.
That's all you know.
That's
But,
all we need to
If
know
you dig deep.
for him to be a leader.
If you dig deep, you gonna know that.
Yeah, I know, but in a world of sheep,
Malcolm had a few too. didn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's a trap though too. At the same time, it's just like there's some stuff they know we don't. You know what I'm saying? There's some
Absolutely.
stuff. So I mean, it's just like if somebody chooses to do that, as long as I think that it would be a bigger deal if Donald Glover got married and then didn't do anything for the black community.
Right.
I think like that's his personal life. Like it's really not nobody's business. Nobody has to go to sleep with that man,
Right.
but her. Nobody has to walk in his shoes. Nobody has to live his life.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's in that marriage. That's his wife. You know what I'm saying? But as far as what he's doing for people, and bringing exposure to different issues, I think that we should be able to separate that. I think that we should be able to look at him in this light as an artist and as a leader, for us, and he can also do what he wants to do and marry who he wants to marry. Like I don't think that's really.
I think my preference is I love black men.
Sure.
So it's not that I'm against interracial dating.
Until Channing Tatum.
I'm not even attracted to him at all. Let me just be honest. But it's just something about the black man that I love, and maybe because I grew up around strong black men and watching my grandfather, and it's like that's what I want. I want black love, and so to me, that is the ideal life for me, to build with a black man, because he will understand me, my ways, how I move, versus me having to teach somebody. I feel like it would be a totally different experience. However, I'm not against interracial dating, but like they said, it's when you do it because you feel like, oh, black women are this or black men are that, so then you bash, or when you date a white woman and then you make her feel like she's superior to us. I don't like that, or you know, that bothers me. Or when black men get a white woman, and that, to me, I've listened to some black men conversation, and that's the epitome of success, to have a white woman on their arm. Once they reach that, they made it. And when I heard that, I was kind of like, what?
You heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's
real.
You a
That's
Becky.
real.
Everybody says, and
It's
I
real.
use this lightly, but have a Becky on your team. You know, and I love my brothers, so I have definitely not given up on them, but I looked at the royal wedding as love. It was just that. It was love.
Absolutely.
It was beautiful. And we were definitely represented. I mean, people can downplay it, you know. I'm
That
sorry.
choir?
Yeah, that choir, the worship choir, what was it? The worship something. That choir was on. I mean, the young celloist, the 19-year-old, I can't recall his name right now. She definitely, and those were her choices.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and her mother's black. So at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me her mother was there for her. She has to know. Like I said, her mom has dreads and a nose ring. She knows that side of her. Now,
For the
however,
royal
she's
family to embrace that.
to embrace
as
that.
well
They,
was
you know, and they're going to have to embrace her. People
Yeah.
think not. But I think she's going to get in there and play the role the way she's, if that's what we want to call it. She's going to get in there and do what she needs to do. They're going to have to accept her as well.
Right.
So
I wanted to add to the point of, you know, black men who say they need a Becky on their team. But isn't it also safe to say those are the brothers that you don't want anyway? Those are the ones we don't need anyway. I mean, if you have a disdain for black women, then those are the ones I don't want. I'm gonna just go after the brothers that won't.
I don't know if it's so much of a
Put my hood
disdain.
on.
Go ahead.
It's more so black men have enough I'll say challenges on their back, from society to their own family to things that they want to achieve. Most men that are black, that are like the Donald Glovers, they're not getting the black women's attention. They're considered weird. They're considered feminine or less masculine or nerdy. Ain't nobody checking Metro. Ain't nobody checking for them until they make it.
Yeah.
Or too nice. Ain't nobody checking for them until they make it. And you know, it's like, okay, Donald has carved a niche for himself, and he's been very successful in these last few years for the people who haven't been following him. Like, I've been following him since he was writing for 30 Rock, and when he was on Community, even before the albums. So, you know, in the bigger scheme of things, kind of going back to your point when you said that I can't expect him to lead because he has a white woman, I'm like, at the end of the day, he's still a black man.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of how you slice it, if he leaves her, he's still black. If he marries her, he's still black. But I don't see Donald or anybody in the media, whether it be through entertainment or politically, should be leading anything. I think everybody is their own adult, and I can't be waiting on somebody to get me to the promised land. Like, I tell my students every day, because I'm in the field of education, be the exception, not the rule. And if we had more people thinking in that tone and going in that direction, then we wouldn't have to have discussions where we're dividing us. We already divisive. We don't need any more things that's going to divide us more. Like, when I seen his video, I was happy for him. I'm like, I didn't care who he went home with. That's just my opinion, though. And it's not to say that because I believe in healthy disagreement. Like, I'm not going to bash you or anybody that feels that way, but I'm like, cut this man some slack, because if that same kind of ridicule was on you, would you feel comfortable? Like, and that's kind of how I see it in the bigger scheme of things.
For sure. I got something that I want to say in regards to. I'm in a relationship and about to be married to a beautiful black woman. I just want to put that out there, and my perspective on the whole. Look at this from a young black boy's perspective. He grows up in a house with his mother, who is black. He sees his mother handle all kinds of different things. You know, some young men grow up in homes where the mothers are rowdy and yelling and screaming and yah, rah, rah, and yah, yah. And some black men grow up in that, and then they get to a school where they're introduced to different kind of women with different kind of mentalities, and all of a sudden they're like, I don't want no rowdy person. Like, I've been hearing that and seeing that my whole life, and that's not the